Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be decorating my house for Halloween and I'm very excited because I have not had my house fully decorated for a holiday since last Christmas. So I'm ready to fully decorate my house and make it completely unusable. Yes, kind of annoying, but it's worth the sacrifice. So I came up with this idea that I wanted to put garland coming down my stairs because I really liked how it looked for Christmas last year. And I kind of wanted to do like a Halloween version of that. And the only black garland I could really find was at Michael's. And it didn't have any lights or anything in it. And so I had to put the lights in it. So I'm just zip tying the lights through the garland, and honestly, I could have just used my Christmas garland because I put so much stuff in it you didn't even see what the garland really looked like anyway, but that's okay because my Christmas garland I did use somewhere else in the house for Halloween this year. So it worked out. And what I did was I just put the long pieces or the full length pieces on first, and then I just pieced in where I needed, like coming down the stairs right there, and then on the bottom of the stairs. Oh, and peep, Mr. Ghostface peeping over the edge of the railing. He is so creepy, you guys. If you didn't watch my unboxing of him, you really should. It's funny. I really like him. He might be one of my favorite Halloween decorations, but he's very creepy, especially at night. I do close and lock my bedroom door at night because of him. But anyway, so yeah, I just put that garland on and kind of went through and fluffed it up. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do in the garland. I just knew I wanted garland on the stairs. Because last year when I watched the video, it just didn't look full there or very decorated up there. So I wanted to figure out how I could decorate up there. And then I have all these they're just like plastic pumpkins, and they have like the little light in the back of them. And I actually got all of those at Ross. I got some last year and I put them above my kitchen cabinets. But this year I bought some more and I put them along my stairs. I really like them up there. And then I just put some branches. Those are branches from actually outside. I don't know whose yard they're from, but they're from somebody's yard. And then I kind of gave me the idea like, oh, the pumpkins are kind of like growing on a vine, like coming down the stairs or something like that. So I tried to incorporate like vines and leaves, and I put some little skeleton hands at the bottom of the stairs, like maybe they're reaching out to grab you or something along those lines. And then I had some black roses and things I'm adding in as well. And sorry, the tripod I was using did not do a very good job at holding the camera pointing at an upward angle. So occasionally when I'm trying to film myself doing things higher up, it seems to face downward, which is kind of annoying. I'm sorry. When I'm decorating, I am a completely different person. I just get into the zone, and that's kind of what I like about it. Like, I just get into it and I just am completely oblivious as to what's going on around me. But anyway, so I did going along the top of the stairs there as well. So I bought this garden, I guess it's not a garden gate, it's like a cemetery fence or gate, I don't know, at HomeGoods this year. And I wanted it in the center of my living room. And the light fixture was way too low, so I had to figure out how to get the light fixture to kind of hang above it. So I got this big clamp at Home Depot. And me trying to do that by myself was really hard. A lot of things I do by myself while I'm decorating or would make it easier if I had a second person, but yeah. I've heard people tell me that they think somebody's helping me and that I have a warehouse that I store all this stuff in, and this is not just from one person. I get it all the time. It is literally just me, and I do not have a warehouse or storage units or anything like that. Everything is stored in my home. I do this all by myself. I know it's crazy. I don't really know why, but I do it. But anyway, last year I was honestly not a huge fan of how this light fixture turned out for Halloween. Now I do like it this year. I don't know what I did last year. I put it up and took it down several different times, and I didn't even like the end result how I left it. But this year I was really happy because I did it once and I loved it. That's always the best. Helps things go by so much quicker. And the skeleton's like doing a little ballerina kick. I just thought it was so funny with his legs sticking out like that. And then I have these light bulbs that kind of look like a flame, and I put those up there to kind of give it more orange color and just kind of more spooky. And then I just wrap those vines on all of the bars on the light fixture. And sorry, I do get distracted by the TV every now and then. I try to cut that out, but sometimes I miss it. And then again, I put some sticks up in the light fixture, and I use the same lights that I used on my stair garland, in that luckily I had some extra strands of lights. And I like how it turned out. It definitely brightens that area up when you put more lights in it. And then I'm just running some, it almost looks like moss just along the branches to kind of make them look more realistic. And then most of the like greenery and all that sort of stuff is from Hobby Lobby. All the greenery I used on my stairs, I actually got at Joann's this year. They had a good sale going on, so I was able to get some picks and things at a good price. And I had a lot of green in there, and I kind of wanted it to look more fall, so I added in some leaves. Because I kind of wanted my center of my living room to kind of look like a cemetery. It didn't really look like that by the time I got done with it, but it looks cool. But I just want everything to look like overgrown, like as if you were walking down a trail or something and this was just growing. I want it to look natural, like something you would just see outside, like with vines and leaves just kind of all over it. And then I just added some leaf picks like to the outer branches to kind of make it look like an actual tree branch instead of just a random stick. I sure do get distracted with the TV a lot while I was doing this. I must have liked whatever was on. And then I just had these other little kind of metal wire picks that I put up in the light to kind of make it look more realistic. So now we are moving on to the center of the living room. Now, like I said before, this garden or this cemetery gate I purchased at HomeGoods this year, and I wanted it to be in the center of my living room. I always think I'm going to do these huge things in the center of my living room, and then I actually get there and don't realize I have the space to do it. But I was determined to figure this one out. So anyway, yes, of course, Mr. Ghostface is going to go in the center of the living room. He's the star of the show this year. And I wasn't sure because I really like the way that other grass piece fits in the corner under my table, so I didn't really want to cut it to fit there for Halloween. So I ended up just getting another piece of fake turf to use here. And this arch had these huge, ugly metal feet that I hated. So I just cut a hole in the turf and put them under it and just ran the bars to the archway through so that it kind of hid the feet. And then I wanted it to kind of look like an island in the center of my living room, so I just went ahead and cut it in a circle. And then the ghost face comes with a phone that when you pick it up, he starts talking, so I wanted that to kind of be up front. And with the hay, I don't know if you've ever watched Scream, it's giving very much Scream 4 vibes with the hay bales and everything in the front. So I was like, oh, that kind of works. And then, you know me, I have to load it up with everything. That little hand with the lantern, I believe I got from Grandinroad several years ago. Same with that tree that's kind of in the front there. Those pumpkins, the black and white and orange pumpkins, are from Home Depot, I believe, a couple years ago as well. And then I painted like a little column pedestal thing black. It's kind of hard to see here, and set his phone on it so when people walk by it rings and they can pick it up and it's kind of like an interactive thing. Now we are at the furniture placement. I hate placing this furniture. Every time I decorate, it's always a pain in my butt to place this furniture. I don't know why. My living room is kind of small and awkward. Like, there's really no good places for furniture. And last year I had the clown here in this corner because he's kind of tall, but I couldn't really get him because I had him up on a table. That's why he was tall. But I couldn't get the table behind the chair I wanted to put there because it stuck out too far and you couldn't really walk in between what I had done in the center of the living room and what's going to go over in that corner. So I was really struggling as to what I wanted to put there and how I wanted to do it. So I ended up just leaving the clown on the ground. I ended up putting my blue wingback chair over there and getting rid of that gray chair and just taking it out of the room completely. It just looked too small, that gray chair there. I did not like it. And the blue chair matches my couch better anyway, so I was okay with doing that. And I'm sorry for the TV flashing, and when the things move, it kind of looks crazy because this is in like sped up. But anyway, so now I'm trying to figure out where I wanted to put the couch. It just went back and forth several times because when I put it on the other side, it just there was not enough room to actually sit on it and then not have your feet on top of everything that's in front of it. So then I tried to put this werewolf. I've had this werewolf a long time. I believe he came from Grandinroad a long time ago. I think I begged my mom to buy him for me. But anyway, that looked okay. I just wasn't like obsessed with it or anything. Like, that's okay like that. I just wasn't like, oh yes, I love this. Oh, and then my mom also bought me that big, huge skeleton from HomeGoods this year. Then I just have those giant round top collection pumpkins I put in front of him to try to fill in the space. I bought a bunch of hay bales just to kind of fill in the area. And that also gives me places to stack things up on, like to kind of decorate with. These bats I also got from Grandinroad a couple of years ago. I like them. They're pretty realistic looking. Oh, and then I got some little ghost face signs to put on the gates that he's standing in behind. Oh, and I also tied a little orange bow on the skeleton just because I thought he looked so barren with nothing. So now we are moved on to my eating area over by my kitchen. Now I'm kind of doing what I did with them last year, just over in the living room, except now it's over here in my eating area. This area I kind of did the same. I did the skeleton up in the light fixture with just all the greens. Those are actually flowers from Easter that I'm putting in there, those yellow flowers. I think they look cool mixed in with it. See, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to not use something just because it's specifically for another holiday. I think it works. And then I just added in some disco balls to give it some sparkle. I believe that gold skeleton is also from Grandinroad a couple of years ago. And then again, these lights, Starburst things I use for almost every single holiday. So I'm just adding those in there. And then I did the same thing on the table with like the hand kind of hanging out of the bottom of the light fixture. And then I have a witch cauldron that kind of smokes. And I believe I got that at Grandinroad too. And then I put some orange lights under it and covered it with moss with some wood to make it look like a fire was burning. Oh, and then I put my Mark Roberts cat on the table too because, I don't know, I just feel like black cats and witches kind of go together. So I was like, oh, the black cat needs to go over there. So this is where I use the garland. I actually ended up using it around the center of my living room too, over where the ghost face was, to kind of break where the floor hits the turf. I just don't like that barren edge, and I feel like this kind of helps soften the edges a little better. Now, yes, obviously I think black would have looked better, but I had completely exceeded my budget tremendously. this year for Halloween. And I need to save a little funds for Christmas. I just can't. So I was like, okay, I'll compromise and just use some picks to kind of make it look more fall. So I added some picks in, some vines. I think I put a couple spiders in it just to kind of make it look not so Christmassy. And then you could see the sides of the garden arch from like in my kitchen, and I didn't like how it looked, so I just kind of put some of that webbing, or I don't even know what that is, like moss. I don't think that's moss. I don't know what that is. But anyway, it's just like this long gauzy thing I put over the side so you couldn't see the garden arch. So now we're working on the top of my cabinets. I used this stuff last year. I got it last year at Ross, the black sort of fern garland. And then I'm just adding some orange and purple lights into it to make it look more Halloween-y. And then I also put some vines up there because we can never have enough vines. Oh, and then I also put another stick up there. And then once I put the stick up there and it was kind of hanging over the edge, I was like, oh, I came up with an idea with that. You'll see it here in a second. So then I put the same garland along the top of the other cabinet with the vines. So I got this rubber snake from Spirit Halloween, and putting it up, it was flopping around like it was too realistic. I was like, okay, just stay up there. Quit flopping around. It felt real. And I'm deathly afraid of snakes. I got bit by a snake several years ago, so I do not like them whatsoever. But he looks cool, like he's slithering down the cabinets or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, then I bought this huge spider web at Big Lots last year, and I put it on the wall in my living room. But this year, as I was carrying it into my house, I was like, what would this look like on the ceiling? And I was like, oh, I'm going to put it on the ceiling of my kitchen. Completely normal. But anyway, like, this was really hard to hang by myself. Like, I was holding it up with my head, trying to put hooks in my ceiling to hold this thing up. So that was hard to do. But I really love how it turned out. It's cool up there. I also think it would be cool, like, if a light fixture was coming out of the center of it. That might be an idea for a different year. Like, if it was above my kitchen table and then the light fixture came out of the center of it. But anyway, so then I just put command hooks around the border to kind of hold it close to the ceiling because it was kind of sagging around the edges and I didn't like how that looked. And then I just ran a cord hider from on top of my cabinets over to it just so that the cord wasn't hanging in the center of my room, obviously. I really love how that turned out. So now we're working on my bar cart. I have this Katherines collection. I don't know what it is, a witch or something. I really love her. She's one of my favorite Halloween pieces. And I was like, I want her spinning on a rotating thing. So I did that. And she kind of goes with the vibe of all the Mackenzie Childs stuff. So I like how that turned out. I love how she's turning so quickly. Oh, and then I put that Katherines collection man coming out of a window. I don't know what he is, what he's called, on the back wall of my kitchen with some candelabras.